Good morning, kids. Welcome back to the class of computer. I, Miss Pooja Jiswani, is going to take your computer classes. As in the last class, we have already started our chapter, that is computer basics. In that, we have gone through uses of computers, characteristic of computer, and working of a computer. We have even seen some input devices. Today, we'll see one more input device, that is microphone. A microphone is used to input sound into a computer. It can be used to record different sounds. For example, you can narrate a story or recite a poem and get it recorded on the computer using a microphone. Do you know, kids, in your cell phone there is a microphone too, which you didn't see, but it's there. Well, now, as we have gone through almost all the input devices, we'll see the brain of computer, that is CPU. Yes, CPU is also known as the brain of computer. Well, CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. It is also known as the brain of computer. It is responsible for processing data given by the user. The process of changing the entered data into a meaningful information is known as a processing. CPU is always kept inside a box, is called a CPU box. Well, as we have a brain and brain takes most important decisions, same way in computer, CPU takes most important decisions. As I mentioned, CPU is always kept in one box. All the parts of the computer are connected to the CPU box through the wires. All the input and output devices are attached to the CPU with the help of wires, which is also sometimes known as a peripherals. Well, CPU is made up of three main parts, and they are MU, which stands for memory unit, ALU, which stands for arithmetic and logic unit, and the last is CU, which is control unit. Well, memory unit. CPU stores all the data and instruction that needs to be processed in the memory unit. The memory unit then passes this data and instructions to the ALU or CU. ALU. All the calculations in a computer are done by the ALU. ALU, it performs arithmetic calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. It also performs logical operations like finding the greater number, smaller number, etc. In this way it works. The next is CU, that is control unit. Control unit works like a supervisor or a manager and checks that all the computer operations are taking place correctly or not. Well, it controls the working of all the parts of a computer and decides when and where to save the data. Even if programs required to do calculation, it sends to ALU, and after performing the operations, it again sends back to control unit to decide whether and where to save. Well, now we'll see output devices. The output devices are used to display the result of processing to the users. For example, monitor. Yes, monitor is a main output device. The monitor looks like a TV screen, isn't it? The actions that you perform using a mouse or a keyboard are displayed on a monitor. You can also view pictures and cartoons on the monitor. But Monitor are of a different types. Yes, there are different types of monitor. Monitor is also known as VDU. Like you have two names, one a nickname which is called by your parents and one in a school. Isn't it? So the same way monitor has a two names as well. The second name of monitor is VDU, which is also known as Visual Display Unit. Visual Display Unit. There can be two types of monitor. The first one is CRT monitor, that is cathode ray tube monitor. Cathode ray tube monitor. Can you see the image which is in front of you? Isn't it very large and fat in front, fat as well? These are the CRT monitors. You might have seen this somewhere but not in the school. Why? Because now our computer is updated. So we didn't use it cathode ray monitor. Why? Because it takes a lots of space. So this is the monitor which you see in your school. Do you know what's the name of this? It is TFT monitor. It is TFT monitor. It is very flat and thin. That's why it's known as thin film transistor. That's why it is known as thin film transistor monitors. That is TFT monitors. These days, the computer systems comes with a TFT monitor as they occupy less space and emit less heat. TFT monitor emit lots of heat. So this was all about the monitors, that is output device. The remaining output devices which we will see in the next class. Thank you.